So Ka-Zar is one of those classic Marvel characters that doesn't get a whole lot of love in the action figure world, probably because he's basically just a half-naked dude with the loincloth, so maybe that's why companies stay away from him. We haven't seen a Ka-Zar figure in years. The last time we saw one was during the Hasbro Dark Ages. They put out a Savage Land box set, and that figure was not very good. Even for its time, it was pretty outdated, and it was actually based on a Toy Biz body mold. I think the body they used for him was the Face-Off Punisher body, so even at the time of its release, it was already outdated and they could have done way better even then. But anyways, I'm glad that they finally got around to updating him because he is looking pretty damn awesome and I'm excited to take a look at it. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already. So first off, looking through the window, you are able to see the figure along with the accessories that he comes with. On the side of the box, we get some really cool looking artwork of Ka-Zar. And then on the back, we get some information about the character and some more cool looking artwork, as well as a look at all the other figures that it takes to build Zabu, Ka-Zar's buddy. So I can't wait to put that together because it's looking awesome. But yeah, the Marvel Legends packaging always looks nice, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get Ka-Zar out and take a look. Alright, so here we have Ka-Zar right out of the box. And yeah, man, I think this guy turned out pretty dope. Obviously, there's not a whole lot going on here, but the figure definitely does everything that the character calls for. So I'm happy with it. I think that Hasbro did a nice job with it. It's a good representation of the character, and it's a fun figure. Originally, I thought it was basically going to be a repaint of Vulcan, but it turns out that's not the case. As far as I could tell, only the arms come from Vulcan. Everything else seems different. Let me go ahead and pull Vulcan out. Boom! As you can see, the torsos are very similar, but there's a lot more detail on Ka-Zar. You could see a lot more of the muscles. And then for the legs, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on exactly because the legs look very similar, like the muscle detail is pretty much identical, but they look different on the actual figures. Maybe it's the like loincloth on Ka-Zar that's kind of like making them look less awkward than they look on the Vulcan body. I don't know. Or maybe it's like the boot and everything. So whatever they did to the upper thighs, they look a lot better on Ka-Zar than they did on Vulcan. But I don't know if they're completely different thighs. It's kind of hard to tell. But in any case, it looks a lot better on Ka-Zar, so that's nice. I was expecting a repaint, so the fact that it's not is definitely a pleasant surprise. So yeah, I think he turned out great, man. They did a nice job with the head sculpt. I think the facial expression is perfect for the character. The skin tone looks good. There's a little bit of like paint detail in there, which looks nice. And then the eyes are painted really well. The hair is pretty good on him too, although I do feel like it could have been done a little better, but it's still okay. And then moving down to the body, as you can see, the torso has a lot of muscle definition sculpted in there, so that all looks really good. And then he does have the loincloth around the waist, and this is nice too. You can see that we have a little bit of paintwork in there, and then looking at the back, we do have a little spot to hold on to his knife, so that is awesome. And then he does have pinless elbows, as you could see. Then moving down to the leg, he does have pinless knees, which is always nice. Then going down to the legs, obviously there's not a whole lot going on until we get to the boots. The boots do look good. There's some nice sculpting work on them and a little bit of paint work, not a whole lot going on. So yeah, I think the figure does look really nice, and it pretty much does everything that the character needs. The one thing I'm not crazy about when it comes to the look is that, you know, the fact that he has the Vulcan arms means that he's going to have this weird, like, seam in the forearm. So that does kind of suck, especially on a figure like this where, you know, it's just like a naked dude. There's not a whole lot of costume details. Something like that is kind of an eyesore. So I do wish that they gave him different lower arms. But aside from that, I really don't have any complaints about the way that he looks. I think that Hasbro did a nice job with the design and the details and everything. And then for accessories, he does come with some pretty cool stuff, including 3 different sets of hands. So first off, we have a set of open hands, and then we have a pair of fists, and then we have a set of gripping hands, but these gripping hands suck. It pisses me off that Hasbro always gives like trigger finger gripping hands to everybody that needs to grip something. It makes it to where they can't really grip onto their own accessories like in a natural looking way. You know, kind of like they're trigger fingers. These should be for guys that have guns. And yes, I'm sure you could justify Ka-Zar having a gun at some point, but he should come with hands that allow him to grip onto the accessories that he comes with naturally, you know? So I really wish that Hasbro would start including gripping hands with their figures. a bunch of their figures that have like weapons and things that aren't guns come with these gun gripping hands, and it just really, it pisses me off like every time. So I was disappointed when I noticed that Ka-Zar came with these hands. I really wish he came with some regular gripping hands, because he does come with some awesome weapons, starting off with this little knife. This is really dope. It's very well sculpted. I do wish that the blade had a metallic shine to it. It doesn't, but you know, it still looks really cool. And then he does come with the spear. The spear is nice as well. I especially like the spearhead itself. It does kind of have like a rocky type of sculpt and texture to it. And then we have the rope there. And then the actual spear handle looks like it has some sculpting work in there too. At first I thought it was just a smooth piece of plastic, but now that I'm looking at it closer, it looks like there are some like wood lines in there. So that is really cool to see. And then of course he does come with the Build-A-Figure piece for Zabu, and I can't wait to put him together. It's gonna look amazing next to Ka-Zar. And then shout out to E. Rivera. He was the first one I saw try this head swap. What we have here is the Ka-Zar head on the Sentry body, and as you can see, that works pretty good. The head's a little bit smaller, so it makes the body look a lot more muscular and just like massive, you know? So this is awesome right here. So although I do like the look of the figure quite a bit, it kind of felt like he was missing something. And after I was looking at some pictures of Ka-Zar, it was a necklace that really kind of would bring it all together. So I went ahead and took the necklace from the Fang figure. And while I was at it, I took the little bracelet things, I guess if you want to call them. And they have the same arms. So like they fit right on and they cover up that seam. And the necklace looks awesome too. So this is kind of a cool option. And the hair kind of pins the necklace down in place so it doesn't like flop around too much. So yeah, I think this is kind of dope. Okay, so now for some quick size comparisons. Here we have Ka-Zar alongside the Marvel Legends Sauron Build-A-Figure and the Marvel Legends 2-pack Sabretooth. And man, it is so dope to finally have a good Ka-Zar to go along with this awesome Sauron Build-A-Figure. I think they look amazing together. And then next up, we have him alongside the Mafex Wolverine and the Marvel Legends 20th Anniversary Captain America. Both of these figures have custom head sculpts from Casting Cave. Next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends X-Men 97 Wolverine and the Marvel Legends Vulcan. Here he is alongside the Marvel Legends 2-pack Deadpool and the Mafex Magneto. And then here he is alongside the Marvel Legends Animated Series Cyclops and the Marvel Legends Animated Series Spider-Man. And then here we have him alongside the G.I. Joe Classified Infantry Soldier and the Mezco 112 Collective G.I. Joe Firefly. And then here we have Ka-Zar alongside one of the Axie Toys Dinosaur Warriors, and you could definitely have them fight each other for some pictures or something. On the opposite side, we have the Mezco 112 Collective Conan, and I think that Hasbro should make a Conan figure. And then for the final size comparison, here we have Ka-Zar alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And the articulation on Ka-Zar is pretty good. Nothing really new or groundbreaking here. The articulation setup on him is very similar to that of the Vulcan body or the Sunfire body. So if you collect Marvel Legends and you have any figures on those bodies, then you're probably very much aware of what the articulation is capable of on this type of setup. But I will say, I do think the articulation on him works well for the character, and I've been having fun playing around with this figure, so I'm happy with it. But let's go ahead and take a look, starting off at the head. He does have a ball hinge at the neck, so he's able to look down to right there, which is really nice. And then he could only look up to about right there because he does have his long hair, which kind of gets in the way. So if you want to get him to look up a little bit more, you could always use the torso to compensate, and there you go. But yeah, it's very limited up here because of the hair. And then he can look side to side, get a little bit of tilt action, not too much. And you know, the hair does kind of get in the way in certain situations. Like if you want him looking off to the side and crouching forward, then the hair kind of gets out of the way. But yeah, it's a little stiff, you know. I do wish that the hair had a little bit more give to it so it wasn't so much in the way. But you know, it's not like the head is useless or anything, so I'm happy with it. And then for the torso, he does have an ab crunch, so he could crunch forward to about right there, which is pretty nice. And it could go back to right there. Whoa, look at that gap. But yeah, it goes back to right there. And then he does have a waist swivel, which I'm fine with in this case because he does have the loincloth, so it never like looks weird or anything. And then for the shoulders, he does have butterfly joints, but unfortunately, it does have that problem that a lot of like recent Marvel Legends have where, you know, it doesn't go all the way back. So I imagine a lot of people are going to modify this figure. I don't think I'm going to, but yeah, I could see a lot of people wanting to do that. Going forward is pretty nice though. You can definitely punch and all that. Yeah, so his arms get in front of him a decent amount. So that works. And then he does have ball joints at the shoulder as well, so his arms could go all the way around. They could come out to the side to about right there, which is pretty nice. And then he does have upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, bam. He has a swivel at the wrist and a hinge at the wrist. And most of the hands just have like the standard hinge, but the gun gripping hands have the vertical hinge. Then for the legs, he's able to kick forward to about right there, which is pretty impressive considering that he has this loincloth here. It doesn't really get in the way, so. And then he could kick to the side to about right there. Then he has upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, swivel at the boot, rocking ankles. They could go forward to right there, or they could go forward a little bit more. There we go. And then they could come up to right there. So yeah, like I said, obviously nothing surprising, nothing groundbreaking, but in my opinion, definitely enough for the character. My only real complaint I have is that I really wish they had fixed the shoulders, but you know, that's something that we've all been saying for a while now. But yeah, every time like a new figure comes out and it has this shoulder deal, it just kind of like reminds me like, damn it, they need to fix that. But you know, you can still get good range out of the shoulders. And like I said, the figure's a whole lot of fun to play with. And I'm having a good time with it, even though the articulation isn't like, you know, the most innovative thing ever. It's definitely standard Marvel Legends articulation, but it works for the character and it's fun to play with. So I'm happy with it. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I think this is a really dope figure. I love the way that he looks. I think that Hasbro did a good job with the details, even though there's not a whole lot going on here. Obviously, Ka-Zar is basically just a half-naked dude in a loincloth. But I think that Hasbro did good work where they needed to. The head sculpt is nice. The new muscles look good. The loincloth looks good. The boots, all of that is really well done. So yeah, I really like the way the figure looks. I think it's a very good representation of the character. And I think that Hasbro killed it on the design. As far as the articulation goes, nothing new, but definitely a lot of fun to play with. You could get him into some cool poses, and you know, articulation on Marvel Legends figures is generally pretty enjoyable, so that's the case with Ka-Zar. I'm definitely having a good time posing him around. As far as accessories go, he does come with some good stuff. I like that he came with so many different sets of hands. I like the weapons that he comes with. I do wish that he came with a good set of gripping hands, but aside from that, I'm happy with the accessories. As far as gripes go, you know, I do wish that the forearms didn't have that weird seam. I think that's kind of an eyesore, especially on a character that doesn't really have a whole lot going on costume-wise. Like something like that could definitely draw your attention, and it doesn't look good. So I really wish that they would have given him new forearms, and I really wish they would fix the shoulders on their figures, but that's not really a complaint specific to Ka-Zar. That's a complaint with a lot of Hasbro figures, but you know, Ka-Zar here is basically just a reminder of how they need to fix the shoulders. So hopefully they do that soon. And then the main gripe I have with this guy are the goddamn gripping hands. I really wish that he came with just the standard set of gripping hands. It's so goofy to me that they throw in trigger fingers for all of these characters that don't need trigger fingers. They just need regular, tight gripping hands so they can hold on to their spears and knives and swords and weapons like that. So hopefully Hasbro corrects that soon. It just pisses me off that he has like gun gripping hands. It definitely feels a little lazy. But aside from those gripes, I really like this figure. I think that Hasbro did a great job with it, and it's nice to finally have an awesome version of Ka-Zar. I'm pretty sure this is the only time that we're ever going to get this character ever again, and I think that Hasbro did a nice job with it. So I'm happy for this to be my Ka-Zar going forward. Much better than the previous one, that's for sure. I really wish that I had some more of those Mattel Amber series dinosaurs, like the Velociraptors and the T-Rex. I don't have very many of those. I have one or two, and to be honest, I don't even know where they're at. But man, they would go so perfect with Ka-Zar. And I cannot wait to finish up Zabu, because right now Ka-Zar kind of feels incomplete without his partner, you know? So I'm super excited to get all of the figures it takes to build Zabu, because it's going to be so awesome to have Ka-Zar and Zabu together on the shelf. They're going to look amazing. But yeah, man, Hasbro did a good job on this guy, and with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.